Welcome back to Master 79. In this lesson, we take one real ielts writing task 1 bar chart from the first look at the data through the brainstorming all the way to a complete model answer. Here is the task. The bar chart below shows the percentage of Australian men and women in different age groups who did regular physical activity in 2010. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Notice the two verbs the examiner gives you: select and compare. And here is the chart. 6 age bands along the bottom, from 15 to 24 on the left up to 65 and over on the right. The red bars are men, the blue bars are women, and the vertical axis is the percentage of each group who exercised regularly. Before writing anything, read the numbers out to yourself. For men, 52.8, 42.2, 39.5, 43.1, 45.1, and 46.7. For women, 47.7, 48.9, 52.5, 53.3, 53.0, and 47.1. Now 3 decisions before you write a single word. This is a comparison between two groups in one single year, not a trend over time. The units are percentages of each age group, so you must never write more men, only a higher percentage of men. And because 2010 is finished, everything goes in the past simple. Take the men first and describe the shape. They start highest of all, at 52.8%. The figure then falls sharply to a low of 39.5% in the 35 to 44 group. After that it climbs back step by step to 46.7%. The shape is a U-curve. Now the women, and the shape is the opposite. They begin at their own lowest point, 47.7%. From there the figure rises steadily to a peak of 53.3% at 45 to 54, holds almost flat at 53%, then falls to 47.1%. That is an inverted U. Here is the insight that earns you the overview mark. Men lead in one single group, the youngest. Women lead in all 5 of the older groups, and the widest gap, about 13 percentage points, is at 35 to 44. By 65 and over, the two are almost level again. Put those two opposite shapes and that one exception in your overview and keep the figures out of it. So the plan is 4 paragraphs. 1, a 1-sentence introduction that paraphrases the prompt. 2, the overview with the shapes and the exception, and no data at all. 3, the male figures in order. 4, the female figures compared back to the men. Here is paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. The bar chart compares the proportions of Australian males and females in 6 age brackets who took part in regular physical activity in 2010. Overall, women were more active than men in every age group except the youngest, where the pattern was reversed. The two sexes also followed opposite paths across the age range. Male participation dipped in early middle age before recovering, whereas the female figure rose to a peak in middle age and then fell back, leaving the two groups almost level among the oldest respondents. Body paragraph 1. Turning to the male data, just over half of men aged 15 to 24 at 52.8% exercised regularly, the highest figure recorded for either sex in that bracket. The proportion then fell steeply to 42.2% among 25 to 34-year-olds and reached a low of 39.5% at 35 to 44. From that point it recovered steadily, rising to 43.1%. then 45.1%, and finally 46.7% among men aged 65 and over. Body paragraph 2. The female pattern was close to a mirror image. At 47.7%, women in the youngest group trailed their male counterparts by roughly 5 percentage points, but the figure climbed to 48.9% at 25 to 34 and peaked at 53.3% among 45 to 54-year-olds, some 13 points above the male low. It remained virtually unchanged at 53% in the next bracket before dropping to 47.1% among the over 65s, almost identical to the male figure. Why this answer scores at the top? Task achievement. There is a clear overview and all 6 age bands are covered with accurate figures. Coherence, 4 paragraphs, 1 idea each. Lexical resource, proportions, brackets, trailed, peaked, virtually unchanged. And grammar, past simple throughout, with comparatives handled correctly. One honest note. Band 9 here is our own assessment of the writing against the public ielts descriptors. It is not a certified examiner score. That is the full process, from a blank page to a finished task 1 answer. Try writing your own version of this chart before you look at ours again, and compare the two. Subscribe to bmaster79 for more ielts writing lessons.